Welcome to Prasad Pod. I'm your host, Jarrell Prasad.
And I'm Paul Campbell.
All right, hello everyone. This is going to be our last episode for the year for 2024. This is kind of like a Christmas and New Year special. There's a lot going on in the world, so we got a lot to talk about. It could be a nice lengthy episode here. So we're just going to shoot this one from the hip and just talk about everything. Trying to just where we came from the year. We started this episode back after the first presidential debate. We started the podcast, and that was a good time. And we want to thank all you followers and loyal listeners for continually, tuning in and listening to what we have to say. So hopefully we can get things popping here. First topic, everyone knows there's these drones that are being sighted over the Northeast here, like Jersey, Delaware. We're here in Delaware, and some people from down south Delaware said that they've seen the drones appear over there. And as far as Maryland, and the government is saying that these are not hostile, but they don't know what they are, which is, I think, kind of a little crocs. We have people saying, senators, governors saying that they're Iranian drones, but if they're enemy drones, why aren't they shooting it down? They have reports of people flying their own personal drones up to it, and their drones losing power. What I want to know is, how come nobody just with a Nikon P1000 just comes up there and gets a good shot? You get all these videos of people live streaming like the moon and stars, and they're zooming in really close, but they can't get a good zoom footage of these drones. That's my thought. So what do you think about the whole situation, Paul?
Well, fun fact about the Nikon P900 camera and the P1000 is that NASA paid Nikon to stop selling them. They don't make them anymore. I have one right here, next to my desk. But but anyhow, that's an aside. But I think that, to your point, if they were not American, they'd be shot out of the sky right now. Because the military doesn't play around with, unidentified flying objects unless they know exactly what they are and they're allowed to do whatever it is that they're going to do for that operation, in my opinion. But I think that, I've seen some videos where it looks like they're shooting, and
Oh yeah, I saw one this morning where somebody was taking shots at it, but they looked like a stormtrooper. Like, for some reason they had tracer rounds as a civilian, and you can't get tracer rounds as a civilian, but where did they get that? They were shooting at it, but they were missing.
Well, I've seen what looks like the drone itself firing what looks like tracer rounds.
Oh, the drone firing tracer rounds.
Yeah, wow. But the weird thing is, on the video I watched, you don't hear any gunfire. You don't hear any pop, pop, pop from the bullets. It looks like quiet. You know what the tracer rounds look like, but imagine that with the sound off, and it's a guy holding his phone videotaping it. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy, and all this sort of stuff. So, I'm of the opinion that if they were hostile, they would be gone right now, right? But then, then the question becomes, let's define who they're hostile to, like towards American citizens or towards the United States government. Unfortunately, a lot of times, the government will allow certain things to happen to the citizens as an excuse for other things. But I don't know if that's the case. I'm just speculating.
But the thing is, it's thousands of drones. It's not just like one, two, or three. It's like thousands of them, and it just calls to mind. Hasn't anyone seen Spider-Man: Far From Home with Mysterio and the drones?
Oh, I haven't. Sorry.
You haven't seen Spider-Man: Far From Home? Oh, dude, you're missing out.
I'm the worst because I watched, with the Marvel movies, I think I watched the first Iron Man, I watched Civil War, and then I watched the Avengers movies, and that was it. And I didn't.
Infinity War and Endgame.
I'm the worst too because I watched the Black Panther as well,
Okay.
I thought they were all terrible. Like I don't like any, but I'm the worst person to talk to. Don't ever talk to movies like with me because I'm just like it sucks. Like I just
Okay. Yeah.
like, so I'm
Okay.
the
Well,
worst
just to
person.
give you a synopsis, so there these a whole fleet of drones that Tony Stark had built. And then they can project real images and stuff. And the villain, Spider-Man villain Mysterio, stole the technology for those drones, and they like staged like this whole alien invasion or otherworld demon monsters, and Mysterio showed up as the hero trying to like fight it. But basically, it's Project Bluebeam. I
Okay.
know you heard of that.
Yeah. There you
Yeah,
go.
that's what it is. It's Project Bluebeam. It's all these drones here are, they probably have projectors on them, to stage their advanced attack. And this is probably the trial run for Project Bluebeam. That's why we're seeing it.
Well, in conspiracy theory world, or as one of my favorite guys, Lionel Nation, who's a really good YouTube follower, I'll give him a quick plug, or someone you should follow on YouTube. He's very good. Um, Lionel Nation. He calls it the conspiratorium, like people who are aware of conspiracy theories, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I'm a conspiracy analyst because everything is a conspiracy. People, the definition of the word is people interacting with one another and coming up with a plan, right?
Yeah.
Roughly. So, whatever these drone things are, there is a theory that I've heard floated out there, that Bluebeam is the last ride, so to speak, for the deep state. Like that, they're gonna pull out the Bluebeam stuff, the alien invasion, when they have nothing left in the tank, and which is a false flag or whatever you want to call it, a fake event.
Yeah. Well, isn't the alien invasion the last card on the Illuminati board game?
Yeah, and meanwhile, the Pope is opening up like the basement of the Vatican to hell or something, and they're gonna.
Yeah, he's opening up 5 portals to another dimension or something, and it's crazy. It's like it's next to the tomb of Lucifer. I don't have all the details on it, but apparently the Catholics do this every like 25 years. But this time
Okay.
they're opening up 5 portals instead of 4. They normally open up 4. This time they're opening up a 5th portal, and just every time the Catholics do something, it's call pay attention to the signs of the world. Like the times we're living in is very crazy. I mean, nothing's coincidental.
Why does the Catholic Church have portals to begin with? Also, what is a portal? Like, what are we talking about here?
I think portal is just a doorway.
To what?
Yeah, to what exactly? I
Like,
think overuse of the word portal, I mean, they're talking about like a gateway, but supposedly that they're next to the tomb of Saint Peter and the tomb of there's a tomb of Lucifer, and we all know that Lucifer isn't buried anywhere. He's roaming around the earth like a roaring lion looking for who to devour next.
and then my follow-up question would be, why would you bury, Jesus's right-hand man, Peter, next to the devil, if that really is his final resting place? Like, what is that about? Like I don't understand Catholicism, and if anybody's watching here and you're Catholic, and you're offended, well, I'm a Protestant, so you can be offended. But like, I think that like all these weird sort of things that they do. Hey, we're going to open up some portals. Hey, we own the world's strongest telescope and observatory, and we named it Lucifer. And
Yeah,
okay, what? Why do you keep doing this? Like, oh, I know Lucifer technically means light bearer, and if you want to go back to like the astrological theology elements of it, it's like it ultimately represents Mercury. Mercury usurps the sun because he foreruns the sun literally in the night sky. Mercury is the morning sun, right? The morning star,
Morning Star. Yeah,
because he shows up before the real deal shows up before the sun. Just like before Jesus got here, the devils in the deluge came down, and started commingling with men. They ran into the earth after it was created and, did a false start, whatever you want to call it, off sides before the son of God came. So there's a lot of, that's what Lucifer is, the light bearer, which is what Mercury is. And apparently Lucifer and Satan are different characters, just and there's a bunch of other smaller demons that are different characters. But anyway, getting back to the Catholic Church, why do you have portals? What is opening portals underneath the Vatican have anything to do with praising Jesus and his sacrifice for our sins? Like
Yeah.
what is going on here? It seems like just weird Masonic rituals. And so what's the point of them? If it not to glorify God, then what is the point of them? Why would the Catholic Church, why would God, supposedly God's, ordained people, have anything to do with this stuff unless it has strictly, exactly has to do with bringing people to Jesus, getting us to the Father through Jesus Christ, understanding the sacrifice that he did for us? Why are we opening portals to hell under the Vatican? What the hell is going on?
So yeah, I do want to let the viewers know who are Catholic, the ones that believe in Jesus, that's good. But the thing is, the Catholic Church itself is an evil entity. It's the whore of Babylon, because everything that the Bible says not to do, the Catholic Church does. Bible says don't call any man on earth father. What do you have to do? You have to go to a priest and call him father. Bible says not to have any intermediary between you and God. Go directly to God. Jesus is our mediary. And what do? You have to go to a priest. You have to go to a pope. You pray to Mary as an intercessor. That's all. It's the Catholic Church is full of a whole bunch of heresy. So, just be aware of that. And a lot of people, a lot of atheists and Satanists now are ex-Catholics. You talk to all these people, they're like, "Well, I was Catholic," and the Catholicism is designed to lead people away from Jesus. It's designed to lead people away from God. And for you followers, not telling you to, not bashing your religion or anything, but just really do some research and look into Scripture itself. Look into what the Holy Bible says, and not what man on earth is telling you. So we'll just say our piece on that, and then we'll move forward. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening there with the Catholic Church and those portals.
And yeah, I'll put a final thing on what I have to say. Yeah, if you're a church attending Catholic person, I have friends who are Catholics, and that doesn't mean you yourself are an evil person. It's the institution that is corrupted. And so now any institution is an institution of man is going to fall short of the ultimate, which is Jesus's plan for us, and he's our ultimate leader. But yeah, I have there's so much going on with the Catholic Church itself that I just don't, I tell my Catholic friends, just become a Protestant. What are you doing here? Like, what's the point of all this stuff? Oh, it's such a beautiful service. And like, yeah, I've been to the Latin Mass. I've done these things. Like, it is beautiful, sure. But like all the other things and baggage that go along with it, thousands of years of, political oppression of the people. And, that's well documented. You don't have to get that on this podcast. But yeah, anyhow, circling back around, these drones are crazy, and I have no idea what to make of them. Yeah, maybe it is Project Bluebeam. They're trying to open up these portals all in conjunction with one another, or something. I don't like. We're just observing it and speculating at this point. There's, but if you ask me, my honest opinion, why is all this going on? Why did some CEO just get whacked in what was clearly like some sort of psyop thing?
Yeah, well, definitely we'll get into that. And actually, you actually just brought that up, but yeah, it's all connected. It's all a distraction. That's why it's going on. Everything is a big distraction. So a little segue into our next subject here. So the United Healthcare CEO had been assassinated by allegedly Luigi Mangione, and the story, the evidence and everything surrounding that is just, bizarre itself. So don't assume that he is guilty. He's actually the one that actually committed the murder, because, he's this Ivy League student, come from a prominent family, and, there may even be a Nancy Pelosi connection there. as well, from what I've
Yeah.
heard.
Because Pelosi's family is from Baltimore. I can't remember what her real last name is. I think it's Andolini, but don't quote me on that. But her father was legitimately a mob boss who ran Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's well documented. And I got like anybody that gets into numerology or like gematria, which is the practice of coding numbers into words. The Luigi Mangione and Brian Thompson event is ripe with all that stuff. I saw a video, so just run with me on this one. So when the the backstory to why Luigi lost his mind and decided to kill a guy is because he was surfing and then had this horrible back injury, and then his claim was denied, right? So and when he had United Healthcare, right now United Healthcare, listen, I have no love for insurance companies because a lot of them are just scams. Their job is to
Yeah.
deny people their money, their assistance, and just collect their money on so it definitely is a corrupt system. Car insurance industry is the exact same thing. So that's a whole nother topic. We're not talking about that necessarily, healthcare reform today. But anyhow, so when he got denied his um, help, whatever thing he was applying for through his health insurance, he got denied. They gave him reason 286 was his denial reason, which is, pre-existing conditions or something like that. So then on his Twitter, he posts up a picture of the 200 of Pokemon number 286, and I don't know which, name of it. Anyhow, I saw the video where the guy searched it, because Pokemon always have these numbers all the way one through, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so he put up 286. He follows 286 people on Twitter. His brother follows 286 people on Twitter. Luigi only posted 286 times. And then I did the research. When he shot Brian Thompson, it was 28 days and 6 months after Luigi's birthday, 286. When he got arrested in, I think it was Altoona, Pennsylvania, he was 286 miles away from where the shooting took place in New York. Um, so and then there's other stuff like that's just really weird. Brian Thompson was CEO of the healthcare company for 44 months and 3 days. Well, Luigi's from Baltimore, which has a 443 area code. Like all this weird stuff,
Yeah,
and
a lot of crazy numerology.
if you take United Healthcare and you assign letters to the numbers or numbers to the letters, so like A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. That's what gematria is. And there's different ciphers that you can use. Well, there's one called reverse ordinal, which is instead of A being 1, A is 26, B is 25, C is 24, so on and so forth. If you do that, then United Healthcare equals 278, and it was 278 months since 9/11, like almost to the day that the shooting took place. So there's a lot of weird things with that one too. Like he used a ghost gun. Luigi used a ghost gun. You remember Luigi's Mansion where he
Yeah.
has the toy gun, for GameCube, and he sucks up all the ghosts.
Yeah.
And so I don't have any idea what's going on like with that. Like to me, even that, and this is just stuff that you can find all this stuff, verify for yourself. It's all true. The 286 stuff is weird as all get out. That to me makes me think that this is an event. Like, and I hate to say, like, did Brian Thompson even die? Like, I don't know his family. I don't know what's going on there. And if he really did die, and this was like a weird orchestrated black magic thing, then so be it. Like it's horrible, and I feel bad for them, But he goes and he just drives off to a McDonald's and just sits there with the gun and his manifesto in his backpack.
Yeah, this is that whole situation right there is what is weird about it, because didn't the cops find the backpack and the gun in Central Park, and the clothes that he was wearing, and then 5 days later they find him with the same clothes and the backpack, and all of a sudden the backpack has a manifesto in it. And who writes a manifesto? I mean, that's like
CIA.
Yeah, CIA. That's like nobody writes manifestos, So that it's very, very strange, and I think we may never know the truth behind it, even if this does go to trial. Will Luigi Mangione make it to trial? You know, uh, not saying anything might happen, but usually in these situations, when they capture these people, you don't ever see it. Like, um, what was the guy that killed JFK?
Or Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald. Yeah, he didn't make it to
He was a
trial.
patsy. He was a setup.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you look at the Luigi, the original photo they took of him, he had a gray striped gray straps on his backpack. He had instead of wearing a cotton hood, it was like, a rain, like not Kevlar, but like a nylon hood or whatever you call it.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
Polyester.
It was not Gore-Tex.
Yeah, yeah. And then, the fact that he takes off his mask to smile at it's all, and gives his name to the barista too. Like, this is just too insane. Like, no way this guy who supposedly has an IQ of 140 would, like, make these mistakes if he's, was really radicalized by his back injury. And I'll just say right straight up, I don't think he looks anything like the guy from the Twitter. The guy from the Twitter is like, they look kind of similar, I guess, but he's got a different nose, he's got a different facial structure, the eyebrows are different, and and now he looks like he's lost,
I
30
mean,
or
it's
40 pounds.
2024. There's so many different ways to disguise yourself. They have these super realistic masks that you could put on. I could put on a super realistic silicone mask that I order and look like you,
Yeah,
and frame you for murder, and I
please don't
could
do
make
that.
it completely untraceable. I could 3D print a gun, and it's just so crazy. That somebody with that level of IQ would make those kind of mistakes and just be so obvious and nonchalant. So the whole thing smells weird to me. But not to glorify murder or anything like that, but does highlight a big problem going on with the American healthcare system. How the insurance companies really, these doctors and insurance companies profit off of sick people, and they just keep them sick. And we have other places in the world like Canada, Germany, or they have like universal health care where you can just go and get checked out, and they're not, I mean, they're taxing the people, but we're severely taxed in America on everything is, I mean, we started a whole revolution over, a small T tax, and now we're taxed on simply everything. If you give money, if you receive money, if somebody even looks at you and says money, you're taxed on that. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and yeah, we don't know. Let's say it actually did happen, and the guy got killed. Brian Thompson got killed. Like, he sold something like millions and millions of dollars worth of shares from the company, months before they had a bad downturn, and he basically dumped on the investors. So there's your motive right there. If you have like a super elite, super rich person, who didn't like the fact that they got left, being the exit liquidity for some, CEO, they could orchestrate a hit and then frame some, unfortunate, weak-minded individual, give him a fake backstory, and they MK Ultra this guy until they fry his brain, and he can't even stand trial because or whatever we'll see how it turns out. But I can definitely see that as being like the reason behind it. If you're ever wondering why people do anything, it's always money and power. So if one powerful guy screwed over another powerful guy with money, by dumping shares before they had a bad downturn with profits, that's why you got left holding the bag. So take this dude out because he cost you $10 million or whatever. That wouldn't surprise me if that was the ultimate reason. But even
Yeah.
so, if it's just a psyop, if these
Yeah,
drones are just
anytime something big and important happens in this country, it's all trace back to the number one root of all evil, money. You know, it's either to hide the truth,
yeah,
because of money.
Excuse me. Love of money is the root of all evil. Money
Yeah.
itself can be used it's a tool. It's like
Yeah.
anything else, but love of money, and which is power, like ultimately, that's what corrupts people and makes them do these horrible things. But I mean, if you're talking about this guy Luigi, we're talking about drones. We're talking about war in Syria where Israel is now expanding. We're talking about in Russia. You're having Ukraine using United States weaponry and missiles to attack Russia. It would not, and I know this might sound crazy, but or maybe not crazy, but a little like I guess self-serving. I think all of this is a distraction from the financial switch and reset that's about to happen. They're about to use XRP. They're about to use Ripple. I think that I'm not kidding when I say no cap. I'll take my hat off, But like I think that they are using all of this stuff as a distraction because they're about to flip the switch and change the money over. And when people start saying like, okay, well, I've seen a lot of people talk about Trump in disappointment, how he's still very, very much appears to be in bed with Israel, how he's not doing anything. Well, he's not president yet, but all of the people he's electing have some, not all of them, but a lot of them have ties to AIPAC or Israel itself. They're Zionists. What you want if you're an American citizen is an American, Americans and patriots in power. You don't want dual loyalty because that just means one of the loyalties is going to be a tool for the other, right? You can't serve two masters. So, but my thing about that is I think that what Trump is doing is he's putting out there that he is, totally a Zionist, totally pro-Israel, because he wants them to be emboldened so they be themselves. And I think when you can't know where on the battlefield, you need to know who your enemy is and where they are. So allow your enemy to be themselves. If un-American Zionists who are not American patriots, who have no care for what their duty is to serve the American people, you and me. If they do what they're going to do, what they normally would want to do because they feel emboldened because they think, oh, we own Trump, he's not going to do anything to us. Put them in positions of power, put them into the public eye so they do what they want to do anyway, because eventually those chickens come home to roost. And I think that the number one way that you stop the Zionists is you got to stop their money. You got to flip the switch. You got to get away from letting them control our money. And that, if the Federal Reserve goes belly up, then Israel loses all of its power. Something like every single country in the world except for like 9 uses the United States dollar, which is the Federal Reserve note. There's nothing federal about it. It has no reserves. It's a debt-based money printing, rat race of a system. So if you say, hey, you owe $36 trillion, you default on your debt. Oh, we'll just switch over to a commodities-backed asset. Let's do that. Boom. We don't need the Federal Reserve anymore. All your greenback dollars are now toilet paper. Have a nice day. That's your problem. It's not the American people's problem anymore. So I think that he's allowing, and then you've allowed Israel to be itself and invade all of its surrounding countries. Destroy Gaza like they have been for the last 2 years at this or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
What happens when the money dries up and they've essentially written a bunch of checks that their butt can't cash, right?
Yeah.
And now the United States military under Trump is going to say, no, we're not going to help you guys out. Why would we help you out? We're America. We got our own stuff to worry about. We just had a financial reset. We're dealing with Russia. We got to have peace there. We got drones flying all over the place. We got to deal with that. Why would we send more money to Israel? You had your chance. And I think that if I was going to read the tea leaves, that's how it's going to play out in the next couple of years. And I think that, allow your enemy to be themselves so they're emboldened. Another word would be cocky or arrogant or careless. And I think that all of these things, the drones, the CEO murders, pick whatever current event you want. I think it's all distractions for the financial reset, the impending financial reset. So anyway, that's just my theory on what's kind of what current events are.
Yeah. So, yeah, you went a little deep into that with the whole Zionists and Israel, but yeah, just to slide back into the topic, that the whole Luigi Mangione and the CEO murder is something that right now definitely has the public eye and has everything captivated. That and the drones and everything, the Catholic portals, the Diddy party list, and now Jay-Z has been, charges have been brought against him, and yeah, Jay-Z is definitely, I'm gonna say it, like, I think he did it, but hey.
And LeBron and Odell Beckham. LeBron and
LeBron's disappeared.
They've disappeared. So did Odell Beckham Jr. He just left Miami. Nobody knows where he is.
Yeah.
So why? Because they're probably being deposed by the FBI right now and giving a statement. What did you see? Who were you with? What did you do? You can sign a plea bargain. If it turns out that LeBron was a diddler, which I think he was, because I've never liked LeBron. I was always a Kobe Bryant guy. And they killed Kobe, because and there's rumors about that. You don't know if they're true or not. But apparently he wouldn't play. Kobe cared about one thing, winning basketball games. And then if you sell your soul to get into that world and you're done, or you're retired or whatever, well, you don't retire once you've sold your soul to the devil. You have to then give more to get to continue your usefulness. And I think he said, no, I'm not going to do that. So they killed him. And there's a lot. The Kobe Bryant thing is very, very weird. And because I played basketball growing up as a kid, and I even though I was we're living in Delaware, so I was a Sixers fan, unfortunately. You watch.
Allen Iverson was.
Yeah, he was great, but
really
he never won anything. He was a very good player, but he never won anything. And and I always admired Kobe Bryant because he just had that killer mentality of winning is the only thing. It's not everything. It's the only thing, right?
Yeah.
And I always liked that and respected that. And then you have LeBron come along, and he's just like a softie. Like, I just want to pass the ball. I don't want to shoot the ball myself. I just want to give it to my teammates that way, though all the blame's on them if they miss the game-winning shot. So even his game, I always thought was weird. But then you start reading his tweets. Hey, we're in Deaton City. When was the last time you had a pizza party in Culver City? And like, what do you mean a pizza party, LeBron? You're a grown-ass man. This is 2011. He's posting this stuff. And then he ain't no party like a Diddy party. No one is ever gonna. I legitimately think LeBron has to have an IQ of like 90. I think he is maybe one of the stupidest people I've ever heard in an interview. And they always, you think the 60 Minutes edited Kamala Harris's interviews to make her sound like a functioning human being. I think that the whole NBA apparatus is built around making LeBron seem like something that he's not, which is somebody that can actually string 3 words together. I watched, he has that barbershop thing that he would do with Antonio Brown. Like, just look at him talk when he's off script. He cannot communicate. And all he ever does is say, yeah, and then I did this. And he'll tell you some clearly bullcrap story that nobody ever calls him out on.
You know what? You remember the movie Bedazzled? When when he became a basketball player and he was dumb. He was so stupid.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of LeBron.
Yeah, and Kobe spoke 3 languages or whatever, and was Michael Jordan is a lot of things. Nobody's ever going to say he's a stupid guy, so I think that, but I just could never stand LeBron. He always got under my skin. And now that he's gone missing, I feel kind of validated because I just thought, like, this guy just seems weird. Like, he's just weird. He might be the greatest athlete who's ever lived. It helps when you're allowed to do all the steroids that he's done throughout his life since he was 16 years old. But you also, he might be the greatest athlete on planet Earth, but he's a weird kind of weak guy. Like, it's just something about him that makes my skin crawl. And then when you hear ain't no party like a Diddy party, and you see him with Jay-Z, and he clearly likes the celebrity limelight. And I mean, his mom got pregnant with him when she was 16 years old. His father, which you're not supposed to know who LeBron's dad's father is Nate Thurmond, who's an NBA, all NBA player, top 50 player who retired in Akron, Ohio, who's 6'11", 250 pounds, looks exactly like LeBron. He played for Cleveland and he played for the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, and had his number 42 retired by both teams. Was 42 years old when he sired LeBron. So what is a 16-year-old going to a party with a 42-year-old? What's that about? And then when you hear about LeBron talking about his childhood, how horrible it was, his mom was never in the house. She was running around acting crazy. What kind of men was she bringing back to the house? And what kind of abuse did LeBron suffer his whole life? So again, he probably had and I know he did, like had a horrible childhood coming up. And you can see it written on his face whenever they ask him about his, especially when he's young, tell me about your childhood. He looks like he is, embarrassed, terrified, shocked. He does not want to talk about that. So I think he endured some stuff. And the thing is, as Christians, it doesn't matter what happens to you in your life, because we're made whole through Jesus. We're always a new person through Jesus Christ, and we can control what we do after the fact. So if something horrible happens to me when I'm a young person, if I go the rest of my life doing horrible things and use that as an excuse, you can't do that. That's not a valid excuse. It's not what happens to you. It's how you respond to it and how you overcome it. So if LeBron had some horrible things happen to him, but then he decides to revel in his sin and use his horrible, childhood, this terrible abuse that he, suffered, I think he suffered in all likelihood, not having a father. And Nate Thurmond has like probably 20 or 30 kids. There's a lot of other really good players in Ohio that LeBron had to play against, and they all kind of look like him. Go do your own research. I've done deep dives into LeBron before, as you can tell, but I think that he is a creep, and I think that he definitely engaged in these horrible things at these Diddy parties where they were drugging people. And now there's rumors like with Jay-Z, like underage kids are being involved.
Yeah,
And
you hear a lot of these celebrities go, "I sold my soul to the devil. I sold my soul to the devil," and I believe that's you're selling your body, it's sex. They're talking about you selling your butt.
well, what is sex? Like, I know there's a physical element to it, but it's soul bonding, it's pair bonding.
Yeah.
The man and the woman become one flesh, right? So it's so in their weird whatever Balenciaga cult they're in, or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
I think that they think that they're, because there's an old in the Bronze Age, going all the way back to the Bronze Age to talk about LeBron.
Yeah.
If you were a man and you were a warrior and you defeated another warrior and then you raped him, you weren't gay because you did the raping. The one who got raped is gay, right? Is the way that what we say of gay. What our concept of it is you become the woman.
Yeah.
That's not.
It was an act of humiliation.
Right, exactly. But there's something that remember, even though they were very simple people back in the day, there's always a kernel of truth into their, what we think crazy superstitious beliefs. From what I understand from having studied this stuff for years, is the reason why you give up the cheeks is because whoever is banging you becomes like somehow like your weird spiritual overlord, and they in the soul exchange that happens during intercourse, if they're the one doing it to you, you're the submissive, all of a sudden they're your new god on earth, so to speak, small g. So there's something to that. That's why, because it goes beyond like sex feels good. It goes beyond, oh, I just want to get laid. There's some weird like impetus to it. Like they want to do this, like not just to get more notches in their belt because, hey, I'm super manly, or I'm an alpha male, this is what I do. No, there's this weird like power seeking thing that goes on with it. And I think that in the music industry, in Hollywood, and now what we're learning is in the sports industry, and we've known it about politics, this is the way that they go about doing it.
Yeah, that's what they do. They, uh, you know, uh, exhibit control over people by doing these sexual depravities. And they lord it against them, be like, oh, if you say anything, I'm gonna show the world what we did. And that's the soul contract. That's what they're what they mean when they say they're signing their souls away to the devil, and for fame. And they do that. And a lot of these people, you got to admit, are like theater kids, music kids, band kids, and they're easily manipulated, and they do anything for fame or a chance to success and be admired by other people. When you clap for people or doing something right, the person being clapped for and applauded feels that energy from the praise. It's energy transfers. That's why these fallen angels and deities want to be worshipped. They feed off of that, and some of them feed off the negative energy and these negative deeds. So you have to be cognizant and careful of what you're doing. So I just encourage people to be more aware, and look, like we always say, do your own research. Look at these things. And but we're me and Paul, we're just here to bring it to your attention, to let you know the things we've observed. So, take with that what you will. But yeah, so we did get banned a little bit a while for our Dark Hollywood episode. So go check that out. It's still up on YouTube. But TikTok had banned us, and had to create a whole new channel there. They didn't like us talking about the Hollywood pedophiles. And it's funny, especially the Ellen DeGenerate post.
Yeah.
And she definitely fled the country.
Right.
And she's saying, oh, she did it because Trump got elected. And
well, yeah, actually,
she did it because she's going to be on the Diddy party list, because she's like, I don't call him Diddy or Daddy or Puffy. I call him Snuggle McFluffy Fluff or whatever. She's definitely deeply involved in that. So all these celebrities that you're thinking that are hiding, you're wondering how come there hasn't been any really good new movies coming out like this year. It's because they're all in hiding. They won't. They know that once Trump goes in office and Elon comes out, they're going to try and expose all these people that have been on there. So I'm excited for the next year's Oscars, because what are they going to do? The in memoriam is going to be all these celebrities that are still living but are Diddy listed and Epstein listed. So
yeah, it is funny that we got banned because of Ellen DeGeneres, and then she goes and flees the country. It's funny you said, like, because Trump is blah blah blah. Yeah, I bet you're running away because of Trump. They tell you what they're doing without telling you what they're doing. She's an evil person who has been doing a lot of evil stuff. And we talked about the imagery in her. We don't have to rehash it. Go watch the episode. It's a fantastic episode, in my humble opinion. But we talked about all the stuff that she was allegedly into. And then she runs away. Yeah, you better run, because you're going to get held accountable. Do you really think that Trump is going to go and make being Ellen DeGeneres illegal? No. But crimes against humanity, crimes against children, those are illegal, and you're going to be held accountable. But anyway, I can't believe that me and my buddy got banned for talking about Ellen freaking DeGeneres. It's just funny. Like, what is this?
Funny. It's funny. But yeah, it doesn't hurt me. Whatever. We're gonna still keep talking about it.
Yeah.
So I find it hilarious. But yeah, definitely go look at. I think that was one of our best episodes of the year. Was the Dark Hollywood episode. We were gonna do a sequel to that, but we want to keep interacting with you. So we're giving you in small doses here. So like talking about this Diddy party list. We were gonna do a full episode on just Diddy, but what he did to Cassie and all this other stuff is just terrible. This what is done in dark will come out to light, and these people have no remorse for what they do. And of course they're going to scream that they're innocent all the way to the end, but the evidence is clearly there. But at the end of the day, God's going to be the one that judges them, so they're going to have to face their creator and, justify, hey, try to, prove it, but he's going to, toss them into the abyss with the beast and the false prophet. So,
yep. And that'll be a good day.
Yeah.
And now, I did want to get into XRP and Ripple and crypto a little bit. Because, but it does segue nicely, because now, while there are things that are going on that are good things, like evil celebrities getting arrested, and, if LeBron goes missing, I think that's a good thing, especially if he's being, investigated for whatever the hell he was up to, right? But I think all of these things ultimately, because they don't report on XRP, they don't report on Ripple, they don't report on cryptocurrency. All you hear about, and it drives me nuts, all
you hear about is Bitcoin and Doge.
Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum, and Litecoin. Who the hell even owns Litecoin? I've never met anybody that owns Litecoin. And so I watched a video earlier, and I touched on it a little bit earlier, but I'll go into it a little bit more. It's the video I sent you, where, like, if we talk about XRP and Ripple, because we want you, the viewer, to know what we think. Like, this is what we think. This is our news. This, if I had to tell you what my show with Jarrell is, what our show is, I should say, the Prasad Pod, is just current events and us translating it for rational Christian minds, right? That's if you had to kind of distill it down to what it was. I want you to be aware, viewer, of what Ripple and XRP are, because I, in full disclosure, have put a large investment into it, but also I think that if I wouldn't tell you about this unless I had 100% belief that this is the way the world is going. I had a prayer. I prayed to God years and years and years ago. God, you've put into my heart, like, I'm very interested in all these, like, conspiracy related things. I feel like I'm drawn to it like a moth to the flame, but, like, I'm never going to get rich off of this stuff. Like, what's the point of me having all this knowledge? It doesn't make me friends. It kind of makes me like a pariah. Like, it's not like I can talk about this stuff at a party, and who wants to talk about Ellen DeGeneres doing horrible things to children with Diddy at a party? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of uncouth. But one of the things that, in my life, I've worked in banking for 10 years, and I have friends who work in wealth management that were very successful, who told me about this thing. And when I look at, the way that our debt system works, the money system works, you always think when I would talk to, like, people who are trying to come up with how are we going to solve the money problem with the world, the simple answer is, oh, gold-backed currency. It's like, yeah, that we've tried that before, and that's a great idea, but that, you can't send a pallet of gold from one country to another, so it still creates a fiat, intermediary. So when we talk about these things, it's because I want you to do well too. I want to make money. Yeah, of course we all want to make money. We all want to help our family out and provide for them. But I think that this change is going to happen in the coming years, hopefully sooner rather than later. It could take 4 years for the financial reset to occur. It could happen in 2 weeks. I have no idea. You just have to know what kind of guideposts to look for along the way. So I think if like what it appears is happening is, with these BRICS nations getting their own currency set up, the BRIC, with the dollar being the weakest it has ever been, and Trump keeps saying, like, well, we're going to put 100% tariffs on countries that don't use the dollar. Yeah, the United States Treasury dollar, not the Federal Reserve dollar, the Treasury dollar that they're going to issue in the coming months or years, whenever it is. But I think that he's telling people without telling them what we're going to do. And the Federal Reserve is going to go goodbye. We're not going to have the Federal Reserve anymore. And that's what cuts the cabal's money. That's what cuts their power. That's what gives you and me, viewer, freedom to have our own money and to be able to have value in our pockets, as opposed to what ultimately amounts to monopoly money today. This is, so it's so important that you start researching Ripple and XRP, not because it's a meme coin, it's, Pepe coin or Shiba Inu or Dogecoin. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme that we're trying to pump. It is the future of the financial system. The Ripple has partnerships with all the 1,500 different banks. We know this because of the court document filings. There's 1,500 NDAs and assuming they're financial institutions, we can assume that because they're a cryptocurrency that caters to financial institutions. This is the way that the world is going to go. The biggest companies in the world, the biggest financial institutions are going to use Ripple and XRP. And when we tell you about it, it's because I want you to get rich too. I want you to come along because the more, think about it. If you are a conservative minded, ideally Christian person, and one day overnight you have $100 million in your bank account because you put $10,000 into XRP, then think about all the things you could do. Not just, oh, I'm going to buy a Lambo, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to get a new pool, I'm going to go to Miami. Think about what you could do in terms of changing policy with your money, because you're now financially independent. We can shape a better world. So this is an opportunity for all of us to do this together and make a better world together. So that's broadly why we talk about XRP and Ripple so much, and we can talk about now like some of the guideposts we're looking for. But that's why I want to talk about it, is because I think that this is going to help us make the world a better place. And I'm not mincing my words when I say that. I chose words very carefully.
So XRP right now is about $2.38 as we're recording this, and I feel that it's going to hit $5 by Christmas time. And there's Ripple just got approved for their RLUSD coin, which is the CEO Brad Garlinghouse likes to call real USD or real US dollar. So most people aren't familiar with this kind of stuff, but trust me, we're doing the research for you. We're constantly checking the updates and the articles and the posts and any news that we have going on with XRP. And we want our users our viewers to benefit as much as we are. So I'm not gonna receive the gift of the Holy Spirit and hear about the gospel of Jesus Christ and not want to share that with others. So it's basically like that same sentiment. It's not on that level, but it's just when you hear about something good, you want to share it with others so others can benefit from that good thing you discovered as well. So Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, was just on 60 Minutes last week, and it was pretty much a hit piece, anti-crypto, but it was it was out there to kind of distract you and dissuade you from entering into the markets. So, but I think Brad Garlinghouse did a really good job in the interview. He kind of knew what was going on, but this right now is going to push people out of the market because they don't want you. Now, 60 Minutes is a left-wing show. They are, very anti-Trump, anti-crypto, anti-everything. If you go back and watch the episode, but who really watches 60 Minutes anyways? Like, the boomers, generation, baby boomers and Generation X. They're the ones that will watch 60 Minutes still, but don't pay attention to that. As not as financial advice, but you really want to, at least invest in some XRP if you can. And if you don't know how to do it, you go on any exchange platform like Coinbase, Robinhood, even Charles Schwab or whatever platform you use. You can use apps like Public if you invest and trade on that to buy XRP. You just buy the XRP crypto and you hold it because Paul and I feel like by 2030, I mean, sure, we're going to see some big gains probably in 2025, 2026, 2027, but you ultimately want to hold it for at least till 2030 because that's going to be the new financial system in the world. How the Bible says there's going to be a one world currency and stuff in Revelations. It's there in the book. Not saying XRP is the one world currency, but it's the bridge to lead to all of that happening. So just do your research. Look into it, and you don't want to miss the boat. You don't want to be. If you could have bought Bitcoin's now over $100,000. If you could have bought, $100 worth of Bitcoin back in 2009, you know, uh, you'd be over $1 million now, you know? So, you know, think about that. You know, you don't want to miss out. So we're telling you XRP, it's a good choice. It's for your benefit. So, yeah, but that's in the XRP news. My prediction is $5 by Christmas, hoping $50 January 20th when Trump gets elected, and then February, March timeframe to the moon.
Yeah, and the uh, there's a argument to be made that it's not even going to go to $5 or 20. It's just going to pop all the way up to $10,000 because if there is a financial reset, because and where we use RLUSD as opposed to United States dollars because it all goes digital, you know, then you're going to need XRP to fund giant pools of liquidity among you know, counterparties. You know, there's no counterparty risk using XRP because you know, nobody really has to hold it. You can just trade it in seconds for, you know, other, you know, for whatever it is you want to trade, right? Because it can be you can tokenize commodities. You can use it for international payments, cross-border payments, huge levels of settlement. So it's space age technology, and for all of those people that missed out on Bitcoin, this is your opportunity to get in on the next Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is 2009 technology or whatever it came out. You know,
Yeah,
well, okay,
2009.
let me ask you something. If I ask you, would you rather own a Walkman, like a Discman, or would you rather own an iPhone? What are you going to buy? You're going to buy the iPhone because a Discman isn't, yeah, sure, it's a cool little thing. It has its own value, but eventually everything, the technology advances. And I think guys like Michael Saylor are just snake oil salesmen. And I think the Bitcoin maximalists, you know, they got rich off of Bitcoin. So how could anything else be different, you know, be better than Bitcoin? And they just don't see this, you know, this change that is coming, which is XRP. And that I really do truly believe this is what the financial institutions are going to use. And somebody asked me a question once, like, you really think like you can get rich off of this? Like, if you really think that you hacked the code, so to speak, and you figured out like what all the banks are going to use, why would they ever let you get rich? Like, why would they ever give you the opportunity, little old you?
Exactly. Because they have no choice right now. And that's why they're not advertising it. That's why every advertisement coming out right now is saying, don't get into crypto, don't invest in XRP. That's why you have all these anti-XRP posts. I see them come across, you know, my feed, my live stream, but like, oh, don't get into XRP. This is why I hate XRP. And they have live TikToks and they sit there and they tell people, oh, XRP is terrible. But you know, that's planned opposition. You know, so you don't get invested, you don't get rich because all the rich people, they know they're going to make it. They're going to make their money off of it. You know, they want you to invest in stupid crap like Doge and Sheeb and Hawk2 coin. You know, look at the Hawk2 girl. That's one thing. She is going to jail for definitely setting up a scam, and she scammed people out of her money. I mean, I saw the next Netflix special, Rise and Fall of Hawk2 girl is going to
Right.
be. I mean, she popped up in what, March, and then she immediately, we're in December, and you know she's already like come crashing down. You know,
Well,
so
she defrauded people out of like $30 million or something crazy like that. So you can't. I don't care if she did it knowingly or if she did it because she's too stupid to understand and her handlers or the people that she works for or work with her did it on her behalf. You got to know better than that.
well, I think she's definitely too stupid to understand how anything works. If you ever listen to this girl talk,
Yeah.
she's a simple country girl from Tennessee, and she doesn't understand anything. And you know, I even heard a couple of episodes on her podcast. She's not all that bright. You know, she dropped out of college to work in a spring factory. You know, and immediately, as soon as her video went viral, she quit a stable job and went living the fantastical life of a social media influencer. All she did was say one line on a street interview that wasn't even her own YouTube channel, you know.
And
So
yeah, but like yeah, so the people who rug pull like that, like the Sam Bankman-Frieds, like the Terra Lunas, like there's a lot of other examples of rug pulls that have happened more than I can even name. Like there's a lot. There was
yeah.
another kid aside from her. There was some 30. It was like a
Oh
12-year-old
yeah.
kid
It was like a
who made
12-year-old
money
kid
and
rug
rug
pulled
pulled.
like 30 million.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he live streamed it too. Nothing's happened with that.
Yeah.
So all the thing is that nothing really can happen to that until there's guidelines and regulations like, for this space, which is why Trump coming into office is so important. JD Vance knows crypto, so I'm very excited about him being the vice president. And we have a pro crypto president. We have a pro crypto SEC chair with Paul Atkins. We have an AI and crypto czar at name is I can't remember his first name, but his name is Sachs. I think it's David Sachs,
Yeah, David
who is
Sachs.
who knows exactly what Ripple is. So
Yeah.
if again, you have to research these people and see what board of directors they're on. Who did they invest in? Like, were they a part of PayPal at any point with Elon and Peter Thiel? And do they have ties to cryptocurrency? Because Bitcoin, BTC, was the beta test coin. It's not what was supposed to be used for world reserve payments and international settlement. The world reserve currency, I think, will be a lot of different currencies, but one of them will be XRP. And right now, if it's $2.30, I mean, if it goes to, and I've seen some valuations that put it as high as $300,000. And I'm pretty good with math. So if I'm telling you this, I'm staking my reputation on it. I'm not telling you this just to blow smoke, and say, okay, yeah, it's going to be a gazillion dollars. No, no, no. There's a finite number of XRP. There's a finite number of debt. How do we recollateralize the debt? How do we pay it off? Do we default on it? And then moving forward, how do we fix that issue? This is a real problem that gets solved by the numbers. And it can be, if it's going to be used for its various use cases, and there's 1,500 NDAs, so there's about 1,500 different companies with all of their different problems that can get solved using cryptocurrency, and that Ripple can provide the solution to using XRP, using RLUSD. And remember, it's real USD. RLUSD is real US dollars, not funny money, not fake fiat fake fiat Federal Reserve notes,
Yeah.
treasury-backed notes, and you can just switch it out one day. It does. One of the things that I was always worried about with the financial reset is that like it's going to be this big horrible event where gasoline is going to go to $100 a gallon, and nobody's going to be able to afford anything, and for like 3 months we're all going to be starving and just broke basically. There's going to be riots and all this horrible stuff. I maybe that's what the attempt for, maybe the bad guys try to push back before Trump gets into office to do something like that. But I think he's such a master chess player that he's already got the solution ready to go, and it's never going to come to that. I don't think he would let it come to that, where the entire financial system collapses and basically, the United States as a country.
He's definitely not going to do that under his watch because he wants to go down as the greatest president in U.S. history. And he just may. I mean, in 20, 30 years from now, I mean, they might look back and go, Trump was really the greatest president in American history, So only usually time tells on that because everyone goes back and they go like Abraham Lincoln or George Washington. But during that time, people like, I hate Lincoln, But anyone now would be like, oh, Abraham Lincoln was the greatest president, and that's 100 years in the future, So
Hey, we've only had two presidents that were involved in professional wrestling: Abraham Lincoln and Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, that's right. Donald Trump was on the WWE. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so that's well, we're telling you guys to invest in XRP. It's for your own financial good.
Not financial advice, but
Not financial advice. Yeah, not financial advice, but it's for your own well-being. If you want to wake up one day and just be like, oh, I'm a millionaire. Thank you, Jarrell and Paul.
And thank you to yourself for having done your own research and praying about it and having God guide you in this direction that led you to watching this podcast. Because I think there's something to this, and I wouldn't be talking about it. I'm not a super whiz technical expert when it comes to how they coded XRP with C++ and all this different stuff, but I understand the macroeconomics, so to speak, of how it works, why it will be useful, and why Bitcoin doesn't scale to be a world reserve currency like it was originally intended, like the white paper said. Now they say it's a store of value. Okay, well, the second it becomes less valuable, your money is gone. The second something else comes to replace it. So I think that the time is coming when XRP and Ripple are going to step to the forefront and take over the financial system. And if you can get in early, get in early. And then that's all I have to say about that. So
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of crazy stuff happening this year. A couple of my favorite Christian content creators are even going back and forth to each other, calling each other heretics and stuff. You know, it's a sign of the end times, right? If you know, you know, if you're in on it, if you know, if you watch those channels and are aware about that, you know, um, but it's time for us to, come together and, realize that, we are living in the last days of the last days, and that the Lord is going to come back soon and, take us all home. So, get right with Jesus, and don't let the, that prowling lion called Lucifer devour you. So just be ready, be prepared, stay vigilant. This is, like I said, this is our last episode for the year. We'll see you guys in 2025. Wishing you Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Um, uh, you know, Keep us in mind next year when you're looking for something to watch. But spend this time with your family. We thank you for being with us this whole entire time and supporting us. You guys are wonderful and amazing, and you stay blessed.